There we go. Good morning, guys and girls. Good morning, good morning. Okay, I'm going to move this over here. Do this over here. Okay, should be good. Cool. All right, let's have a look at what's going on in the markets today. Okay, for whatever reason, doesn't like doing that. There we go. So, what I'd like to do is, on most days, is to start fresh. But I think it's worthwhile reviewing what the markets have actually been doing this week. So let's go, because it's Wednesday. So let's just go through and start at the top, and I should try and reorder these in a way that actually makes sense. So let me just do this very, very quickly, and I'm going to try and keep this morning a lot quicker if possible. So we'll just reorder them in a way that actually makes sense. That's fine. Dollar CAD, dollar yen, dollar CAD, dollar Swissy. Just doing them in a bit of an order here. Euro Kiwi yen, Swissy CAD, Aussie yen, Swissy Kiwi, Swissy gold. We'll come back to gold. The Dow, the FTSE, Aussie yen. So here we go. We can bring this back up here. Aussie Swissy back up there. What else we got? Aussie CAD up here. Oil, gold. We've got a couple of oils there. Okay. US 100, US 30. Got a couple there as well. Too many charts. US 100. Okay, cool. And where's my euro dollar? Okay, there it is. Cool. Is that the furthest? US 500, another one, and a euro dollar. Okay, cool. Okay, so so starting with euro dollar, we've had a bit of a reaction off this level here. So bizarre. Just waiting. Well, it seems that when I have two MT4s up at the same time, so my live trading account or one of the live trading accounts with this, the connection doesn't like that. So there we go. This should work, but let's just try this again. It's so bizarre. Sorry, guys. It's not supposed to be this hard. Good morning. Hi, Richard. Okay. Don't know why I don't have that connection. Seems to be connected on price. It's just not connecting here, which is really weird. Otherwise, I'll just do the so bizarre. Very, very odd. Okay, so let's it will eventually connect. I'm not sure what that's about. That's on me because I should have had that ready before we kicked off. Let's have a look at a couple of these charts. So first of all, on the 4 hour, remember I'm just putting the trend lines in as a guide, as a general guide as to whether I should be bullish or bearish, but definitely what I would highlight now, I think is fair to say, is this level of, a little bit of level of support. And we've managed to breach this kind of angle a little bit. We'll see how that goes. We are now at coming into a bit of a level of support and resistance. What is going on with you? So I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. We'll do pro real time as well. This is so weird. Very annoying. So weird. And I've got a 700 meg connection. speed here. Okay, so we'll start off here. Okay, so we've got euro dollar producing potentially a high low on the daily. It's starting to breach this sort of, it's been unable to kind of break above that. There's definitely a bit of a level where it is now. And so that can go as well. And this is really, I think, a key thing here because it's kind of setting up for a little bit of a shift to the upside. And I think if it goes up, I think it's actually going to break higher than this. And therefore, I think that there will be some good moves up to 1.14 potentially. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the next few hours, is really to see how we handle this area. Okay, I'd like to see us break above and potentially start looking for buys to the upside. I'm going to try this again. We're going to try this one more time and see if we get this, if this works. Hi, Dan. Good morning. Good morning. So that's what I'm looking for. Slightly higher low, which could be, and if it breaks this high, it's going to head up to 1.14 or higher, possibly even up to 1.15 if we can keep this going. So today, I think I'm more bullish than bearish if we can get a nice break above this and a continuation. On that, no connection. I'm just surprised. Surprised. It's really odd. So odd. Okay, let's keep going. So looking for longs on euro dollar, and again, if there's going to be a bit of a rejection of the US dollar index, if this is going to fail, so in other words, if this is going to lead to a bit of a good deeper correction here, then it makes sense that I would then see more bullishness on some of these other pairs. But this is very messy. That 1 hour is pretty messy. Okay, so I'm just going to, oh, there we go. I finally have connection. Okay, so let's carry on. I'm going to carry on with this unless you prefer the Pro Real-Time platform. Okay, so the main thing here is really looking for some breaks above this level and looking for sort of break and a retest or a continuation above that. There might even be a bit of a pullback down towards this level here and then looking for a move up. A continuation, potentially setting up almost like an inverted head and shoulders as it changes trend to the upside. Then having a look at sterling. So sterling's 4 hour is already breaching that kind of angle of momentum, but it is also not looking as strong, and it is very, very messy. So at this point in time, not really a fan of sterling. Aussie dollar is looking, it's been quite, you can actually see it's quite interesting. There was some looking for some setups all the way down here. Anyway, and it's been moving very aggressively. So the reason I think that's worth taking note of is this big extended long move to the downside and a correction up here. Now, if Fibonacci measurements hold, then I think we could be looking at a 50% retracement or a 382. So I think there's room to go to the upside. And therefore, again, I'm still looking for buys to the upside. There could even potentially be a setup that's occurring where we are now. That's interesting. Okay, so it could be a possible setup. I would have expected a bit more of a correction to the downside first, maybe before we move to the upside, but just highlighting that. So that's interesting to me. Possible one there that I might have a look at. So Aussie dollar, 1 hour. So bullish on Euro USD, but I also like AUD USD 1 hour. Possible setup. Okay, and then bearish would be down here on these ones. Interesting. Okay, and that's got 18 minutes to go. See how that goes. Kiwi dollar. Similar thing, consolidation. However, let's just have a look at this. Daily, 4 hourly. Okay, I just want to make, I want to be absolutely convinced that this has started to shift to the upside in 1 hour. Okay, so we had this is a setup from the other day. So we actually had that. We actually had a double bottom. I think I did trade it. Just going to check if I traded it. Kiwi Dollar. Yep, I did. Okay. But I had a break even. So I had one where it went up and then came back and hit my break even and stopped me out. So I banked it. I mean, I banked half, but not a full one. Very, very choppy, but still bullish. So this is good. So far, they're all looking relatively bullish. And so today could then be a weak US dollar day, providing opportunities to the upside. Okay, dollar yen. Relatively range bound, so not ideal. Relatively range bound at the top, so possibly trades to the downside. Not necessarily first of my thing. Dollar Swissy, I would say, is probably, if it breaks here, looking for moves down to here. It's if we do get that weaker dollar, we'll see those moves head lower as well. So, bit range bound. Excuse me, not first on my list just yet. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I mean, that was just such an extended move yesterday, and I didn't participate in any of that. But Dan, you said you know, at least you were watching that. I didn't participate in it at all. Completely missed that. So, excuse me, but I think it's fair to say we've kind of lost that bullish momentum. And now, so the way I would do it now is, let's have a look. Is that the 4 or the 1 hour? Okay, so this is sort of our 1 hour. I think it's fair to say it's sort of maybe, or potentially anything below this. So let's go back to that setup. Anything below that, I'm sort of bearish. I don't, and then possibly there might be an opportunity where it comes back up and there's a shorting opportunity in those areas. So dollar CAD, I like for moves to the downside. Dollar CAD. Okay, Euro GBP. This is a tricky one because I was looking at it. It's very, very choppy. I would exercise caution on it because I'd like to say that I'm more bullish than bearish, but it is stuck in a range, and the higher you go, it's not necessarily offering clarity. So, excuse me, I had a bad night last night. I just did not get very much sleep. So I only got about 3-4 hours sleep last night. So it's not ideal. Below the low here, I would be bearish. Above that, I'm bullish. So for now, kind of not really gonna take anything from that. Euro Aussie, that was definitely one I wasn't really expecting. It's okay. I mean, it happens, but that was absolutely just a solid bearish break. Now, I can't argue necessarily that I'm still bullish. We are still in an uptrend on the daily, so we are still getting high lows, high highs. But again, and we might even get a bit of a bullish setup here where it's looking to carry on. But that was just such an aggressive shift in terms of momentum to the downside. And you know what the worst part about this is that there was some really good smaller breakout trades to the downside here. So there was a bit of a consolidation and then a breakout down there on the 15 minutes, very aggressive, but whereas I was still bullish at that time. And then there was another little consolidation here and a breakout. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to highlight that area. So the plan would have been that there's a consolidation or breakout to the downside. This was ridiculous, and I just didn't even... I think what happened was I had a trade long, and when I saw that, I got out of it, but I didn't shift to the downside. So actually, that was just a consolidation or breakout there, and it was a move to the downside. So I didn't trade it, but that was there. And that in itself was a clue that this was going to go a lot further. So now we're sitting in an area where it might be ready to potentially kind of reverse from here. That's a possibility. But a safer approach to this would be, I think, then a break and a hold above this. So potentially a break above here and then a continuation to the upside. Failing that, a break below here and a rejection and a continuation to the downside. So I'm going to mark that in, just meaning a bullish above there or bearish below there. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's Euro Aussie, which I'm going to bring Pound Aussie closer because I think Pound Aussie is going to be in the same kind of boat. Pound Aussie will be the same kind of thing. And right now, Pound Aussie is looking more bearish than bullish. It's not over yet because it could come down here, reject the lows, and break out to the upside. So it'll be the same kind of thing. Go to that 1 hour. And just sort of be bullish above here or bearish below that. But this way, at least, kind of marking that level. Bearish below that if we do break, but if nothing else, and so I'll be watching that, because again, a move up here, there could be a move, I think, yeah, during the day it's fine. So trade up to here, potentially it could go down, but that's tomorrow's problem. Euro Kiwi on the daily has broken this downtrend, so it should be more bullish than bearish, should be, but also, yeah. So I think, again, I would say that if we break below that, I start to become bearish. If we stay above it, I'm still bullish. And therefore, possibly a safer way approach to that is to just, again, is probably a break and above it, a retest to the upside on those ones. Euro Kiwi. Very cautious on those ones. And then the yen pairs as well. So then the yen pairs, let's go back up, have a look at that 4 hours. So they are starting to breach that downward momentum, but they're also, let's just start fresh on this one. Just start fresh, bring in some levels here. Well, let's start with this and let's go up. Is that the 4 hour? Cool. I think that's a relatively decent summary of what's kind of going on there. Okay, so I'll become more bullish once we break up above here. Bearish below that. For now, it's just in that horrible, awkward teenager range of what's going to happen. Pimply teenager. Looking for moves to the upside there. And let's group this one again. So pound yen as well, bring that in. So euro yen, pound yen is going to probably be that same approach. And in fact, look at this. I found this interesting. Such strong rejections here. Like, clearly did not want to go down. Then attempted to move to the upside. Bit of a breakout, immediate failure, and now back down, breaking, testing the lows. So it's clearly, at this time, there were just a ton of buyers in this session. Maybe the Asian session. And so, yeah. And now it started to breach a little bit lower. So this is actually looking at a little bit more bearish than anything else. I think we have broken this downtrend. We are technically, we should be starting to climb, but it's not bullish enough yet. So sometimes that trend doesn't have enough buyers hopping in to help it pick up momentum. So I'd keep an eye on that, because I think, again, a break above here, solid breakouts, could be continuation to the upside. I'm not yet willing to short this to the downside just yet. Not yet. But it's not ideal yet. Not perfect or not ready, not ripe. Okay, so Euro Swiss is still predominantly bearish. And I think, yeah, we just marked it here saying if it's above there, then it would start to look more bullish. It is starting, here's a higher low. It doesn't mean anything yet. I would say a break above that and a retest and a rejection. So in other words, yesterday's analysis still stands. Okay, that's wobbly. Cool. Pound Swissy, let's just group these two together. Pound Swissy still bearish, actually. So pound Swissy still looking way more bearish than anything else at this time. So there could be some shorting opportunities, although we did break this to the upside. Again, what's going on here? More bullish on this above here than anything else. This could actually be within this range, just not enough buyers, not enough sellers. So let's get rid of that. We don't need that for now. And if we break above that, we're bullish. Otherwise, potentially some shorting opportunities, but higher risk for me in this area. Okay, Euro CAD. Also, look at this bit of a rejection. Not really ideal. The weekly just being a real mess in this area. Look, it's at these lows. It's generally range bound. This is not a bad area for this to become bullish. But that 4 hour is still bearish. I missed that as well. Did I? Yeah, Euro CAD. The CAD pairs, that CAD strengthening so much. Completely missed it. Okay, obviously I think I'm bullish above here, and was looking for a retracement yesterday, which we never got. So yeah, also potentially on that, just gonna have a look. We'll stick that in. Go up to the highs as well. Yeah, so there might be, again, there could be a good sell off here or potentially a good sell off that as well. And so for that reason, I would watch the 4 hour. The 4 hour, even where it is now. So I'm going to have a look at that. So there could be possible EuroCAD 4 hour. So what I'm looking at here, ladies and gents, is the bearish rejection. I would need to see, so this is my trading plan on this. Where it is now could be preparing to reverse. This is what I'm going to have a look at. I would look to have this close as a rejection candle with this kind of being the rejection region. So probably closing below that would be good. That would be nice to see that. If it then closes as a bearish rejection candle in 2 hours, which is at 11 o'clock UK time, then it's 10 o'clock, sorry, 10 o'clock UK time. Then I would go down to the 1 hour and or 15 minutes, and then I would be looking for, in fact, the 1 hour would be fine. I would be looking for a breakout candle to the downside, so a momentum shift, which would look like this. Momentum shift closing lower when that after that 4 hour closes. So this is not going to happen necessarily this morning. And then on the 15 minutes, I would be looking for so momentum candle like this, but probably a break below that level. So break and then potentially looking either for a break and a retest and a continuation. So if that was the case, so this, hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. So once the 4 hour has closed, if it closes as a rejection in line with that level, then I'd start watching the 1 hour to see a momentum candle break to the downside, which means the sentiment has now shifted to a downward move. And then what I'm going to be looking for is for that 15 minutes to then be moving into a downtrend. Okay, and so there's a couple of ways I could then look at getting in on that. A break of that low, my stop loss above that high. So in other words, it's confirming a shift to the downside and then be looking to that. And so that's the earliest way of getting in on the next move to the downside if it's going to occur. So hopefully that makes sense. So EuroCAD 4 hour / 15 minute. Cool. Next, Kiwi. Okay, yeah, Kiwi. Let's have a look at the daily on Kiwi. Okay, bearish Kiwi Swissy. 1 hour, 4 hour, sorry, 4 hour. Starting to breach to the upside, but actually looking quite bearish. So what do I mean by that? I just mean that there's a possible level of some kind of resistance that it's struggling with over here. This is a tricky one because it's not necessarily, there we go, there's the level. Look at that, that's your level. In order for me to feel confident that I could trade this short, I need a bearish momentum candle to break down and close below here on the 4 hour. That's it. So in other words, I'm bearish if we get a bearish breakout to the downside. A momentum candle a momentum candle is a full-bodied bullish or bearish candle that signifies that there is now a committed sentiment or change in sentiment, or just a committed direction in sentiment, and then look for that, and then look for an entry on the lower time frame, same as with EuroCAD. So right now it's struggling on this level, but I would really need to see that happen. So that most likely means a break. This is obviously from previous days, so let me just get rid of these. Probably quicker to just get rid of the whole thing. Yeah, that was interesting. Give me a second, I got the dogs at the door. Come in. Oh, right now, okay. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Okay, they can come in here. Okay, cool. Okay, great, thank you. So meat, This is Cleo, who's the sweetest little dog, and she's not a puppy. She's not actually a puppy. So there we go. Hey, you okay? Yeah, just wants to come and spend some time with Dad. There you go. Okay, so it's funny because I was in South Africa. I grew up with like Boerboels and Ridgebacks and Dobermans and Alsatians, and then here I am in the UK and I've got sausage dogs, but yeah, they're very sweet. Okay, so break below this, I start to look more bearish because it's got a temporary range, and what it's looking for is a commitment, and that commitment should be a very, I'm thinking it's, look, I mean, I've been wrong this week a couple of times, so that's okay, but I'm looking for like a bearish breakout here first. I think with the Swissy and CAD pairs, they might be breaking low. However, if it breaks above that, then I can be bullish. Okay, so that is really going to be the trading approach there. I think we're going a little bit faster today, which is good. So bearish below that, excuse me, and bullish above here. Okay, then moving on to some of the other sort of, not obscure, but right down to some of the yen pairs here. So Aussie yen, let's have a look at that. So, okay, Aussie yen, I was saying yesterday that I felt some of the yen pairs this week are supposed to be bullish. Excuse me, they haven't quite picked up that momentum yet. Here's a bullish breakout, excuse me, above that. Again, I think some decent pullbacks may be required, and then looking for long positions at this time. So I'm going to pass on that, a little bit more cautious on those. Aussie Swissy. Okay, so here we've got that rejection. It's actually an interesting, there's a phenomenon here. We've got some solid rejections. Same thing again here, I think. A breakout, then looking for longs, or a breakout to the downside looking for shorts. Now, I know that sounds odd, but a 4-hour breakout in one direction is likely to be where the rest of the day is likely to go. So above that is likely to be where the rest of the day is going to go. So a 4-hour bullish candle is probably bullish for the next few hours, and a 4-hour bearish candle is probably bearish for the next few hours, roughly speaking. Aussie CAD. Okay, this one was looking for a breakout and a bounce, and it just came back in within that range, and it's still struggling within that range. So I think it's fair to say it is trying to climb higher, but it's also looking very messy. If anything, this is not looking that bullish. So here, I am more concerned about this. I have my concerns. Some strong rejections. I'd need to see again, I think, a bullish breakout here. Then I'd be looking for longs. It sounds very odd, but again, this has got a bit of that sort of bearish potential. So I think it's fair to say that if it starts to drop, obviously if it's still within the range, and I think therefore if it starts to drop below this, let's even put it down there. Let's say, I'm just trying to capture the gist of it. If it starts to breach down here, it's probably going to go low. So it's break above that, I'm bullish. Break below that, I'm bearish. And a proper break. This whole thing of this attempt to fail. So solid candle like this would be great. And here's another thing, by the way. I know these big bullish candles can sometimes be a concern that is most of the move, but sometimes actually the breakout candle can be the beginning of the move. Like it just should be a solid candle that does that. Okay, gold. Moving on. So we're doing all right. We're only 30 minutes in today. Gold. Okay, so gold, I actually went long on yesterday. I'm quite surprised that I did. But what did I see? What did I see that was so good? I think there was a little bit of a break and a retest here. Something like that. Or did I take one of these? I went long on one of them. But the same thing again. I took partial profits and then it came back and tapped me out. So in those cases when I take partial profits, I'm moving my stop loss to my entry. So I still capture, but I capture 0.5% more, or half R. It hasn't really picked up the momentum yet. So again, I think I'm going to say that I'm still more bullish than bearish at this point in time. What does that 4-hour look like? The 4 hours in an uptrend. It's trying to consolidate. On the daily, it's attempting to do a move a little bit higher at the bottom of that. We could be range bound on gold for a while. So this could be the beginning of a range up to the top. So I think I'm leaning bullish at this time. leaning bullish at this time, and I would be looking for decent breaks and retests on this. Okay, possible breaks and retests looking for long, but it is messy. There's no doubt it's messy. Okay, what else? We got oil. We're looking for this. So there's a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. One might be looking for a correction. So is that the 4 hour or the daily? Okay. Yeah. So again, looking for entries to the upside if possible. There might be some there, but this is the 4 hour time frame. Yeah. Okay, so interesting. On this one, 15 minutes. There might be some trades to the downside briefly today, but I would be looking also for long. So on the 1 hour, for example, there might be some breaks. Okay, so above that, I'm bullish. Down to here, potentially looking for a bounce, looking to climb on the 4 hour if I'm going to go with the new trend. So yes, so 4 hour, what I'm looking for, if I want to go long, I'd be looking for bullish, a couple of bullish candles to be setting up on the pullback here, potentially on a fib level or back into support resistance or onto a pivot level to go long on this one. But there's definitely some resistance here. So oil's a tricky one because oil might have a potential move to the downside today, but it might also set up to go long. So caution, I would dealer's choice there on that one. Okay, and that's US oil. What's going on with the indices? Okay. What a ridiculous move. And all I mean by that is, man, it moves so quick. When these markets move, they bullet. The only way you can get in is like 5 minutes. Because like yesterday, if you kind of look at this, it's just the only way you can kind of get in. And it just is so fast. So although it was on my watch list yesterday, I didn't have time. I had other stuff that I had to do, and it kind of does that. So overall, this is a relatively big bounce to the upside. Excuse me. Now, my issue with this is, and I don't know what your thoughts are, guys. My issues overall, I still am not necessarily convinced that we are free and clear just yet. So as we approach this, it becomes a little bit higher risk. I think I may be preferring a situation whereby there's a little bit of a small bounce down and then look for buyers to the upside if I'm going to do that, and just being prepared that as we approach that, it could start to stall. So it starts to stall. So I think for me, it's going to be maybe I missed this stuff, and I think that was the best move. I think for now, maybe for me, it's just watching from the sidelines. So again, let's have a look at this one. There was a breakout there, and it just went. And then even here, this pullback, and then it just took off. So even if you had tried to take this one, you wouldn't have been able to get in. It just moves so quickly. And now it's sort of slowing down. It's starting to lose a bit of that momentum. So not sure what your thoughts are, but I'm becoming a little bit wary. We're right up at the old highs. I think that's a pass for me. Tech. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Let's have a look. Tech. So yeah, I'm interested in your opinion, by the way, because we're almost done, just because we went faster today than before, but I am interested in your take. So again, a really strong recovery, just this ridiculous boost up into this level. So looking at it on a daily, we're hitting a major level and we could stall. So I'm just cautious about that. And again, when it drops really quickly. So I'm not saying it's necessarily going to drop from here. But if I'm just cautious. So even here today, yesterday, this was the trading plan for yesterday. Didn't even come down, didn't even slow down, it just took off. And so I'm a little bit cautious about that. So then let's have a look at the FTSE. Why do I not have the DAX on here? I'll have a look at this. So this is where we are. What's this now? Completely sliced through that. That's fine. Looks really nice and bullish. Go down to that 1 hour. Bit of a, by the way, I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but for me, I think consolidation breakouts on the indices is a phenomenal trading approach. Quite a few of the books that I've read, like Nicholas Darvis, his was a box, so a breakout from a box, but a whole lot of some of the most successful trading stories you hear about they were consolidation breakouts on stocks. So it is really good. And when you go down to those lower time frames, there are often momentum breakouts or flat level breakouts that can lead to really good returns. So if I had to narrow stuff down, I think consolidation breakouts are a phenomenal, worthy of consideration is what I would say. And actually, even in this example, so this one here, which I didn't take, I'm just seeing it in hindsight. So it's completely hindsight trading. But even in that one, there was a break and a bit of a nice little bullish signal here, and then it's gone. So, and in those cases, what they usually do, they don't put the stop loss on the other side of the consolidation. Actually, funny enough, they put it sort of just below halfway in the range, or even just below here. But that would have been a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 trade. Didn't see it. Here's another little bit of a consolidation trade. And kind of went out, would have hit 1-to-1 or something like that. Where would you have put your stop loss? Below here? You would have hit the 1-to-1 or maybe 2-to-1 on that. Came back and tested it and carried on up. So consolidation breakouts are worthy of consideration on these. In fact, I might even just do that a bit later today. And I just forget. You forget because you've got too many markets and too many things you're looking at. Cool. Okay. So that's my concern. So my concern is that all those markets have moved. They are potentially near the top. How's this one looking? Coming up to the old highs, but strong recovery, strong recovery. And my weekly analysis is going to have to talk about that because that is a really strong bounce. So there's definitely buyers in the market at this time. And I think it's fair to say that maybe when we get a muted bounce, the next time we get a pullback like this and we don't get so much of a reaction, then maybe it's going to lead to a bit more of a stumble. Now the question is going to be can we get past these highs? So it's higher risk. I think if there's still room to go and the market's still looking relatively decent, maybe, or a pullback down. And I think 1 hour, because it's moving so fast, it'll be a shallow pullback, something like that. But that's a thought. Yeah, but it's such a recovery. And actually, in fact, I'll tell you why. Because also it's only Wednesday now and it's almost back up at the highs. So the question then is, by the weekend, so in other words, by the time I do my next weekly analysis, will we have broken up to new highs or will we be battling with that level? We'll see. I have to see what it is before I draw that judgment. This was my whole point of this kind of concern was that this week is that you're very likely to get a bounce and then back up to the old highs. But then what? Like now what? Where's it going to go? So can we keep going? What's the story there? We'll have to see it. But such a strong recovery. I mean, absolutely insane. So that's another reason not to short those markets, or at least if you're going to short it, you take profits as you go because it just bounces. And honestly, I don't think there's any reason not to think that it won't keep doing that for the foreseeable future, like until we really have a much deeper correction. And the US apparently is already seeing the results of all the stimulus and the money starting to go, the infrastructure, which will change the optimism and the mood. It's all kinds of things. So I think the US economy is going to be super strong despite the inflation. For now, there's no signs to show that it's really in peril. And actually, even anecdotally, I don't know about you guys or girls, but anecdotally, when I think about people I'm talking to here, it doesn't feel dire, but sounds like people have got work in the UK. It doesn't sound like jobs are on the line or any more than usual, it being London. So it doesn't seem like there's any real concerns. It doesn't sound like everyone's financially overexposed. We might be okay. And that's it. So guys, we're done. It was faster today. It was 40 minutes today. I think next time I can do it in about 35 minutes. If you have questions, give me a shout. That's it. So my favorites, just to recap, I think Euro CAD looking for some potential bearish moves, Aussie dollar to the upside as well, and dollar CAD as well, bearish on those two. So yeah, and there's a few others, but the ones that I think I like the look of are these two: Aussie dollar long, Euro CAD short. Gold is a little bit messy, oil a bit iffy, and the indices a little bit caution there. But yeah, should I do another one tomorrow, or is every day okay, or should we take a break until, well, tomorrow's Thursday, so why don't we do one tomorrow, Thursday, and then that's it. We don't need to do Friday morning. So okay, cool. No, my pleasure, as long as you're finding it useful. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. I'll let me end it, and then we'll happy trading, guys. Trade obviously responsibly, but thanks. Okay. Thanks.